Stay spoken, stay spoken, stay. Stay spoken, stay spoken, shred. Identification is more than just a fact. Identification is more than white and black. Black history. Why is it a mystery? Why does it threaten the Ministry of Defence? Why is war so tense that the so-called soldiers always holding on to his sixth sense? War is not something to play when the killing to take and not killing to give. Killing in general is not the way to live, but killing over money like it's something to bridge the gap in for your tummy. What is money but an IOU with no true value? True value to the point making see it's golden crest, but there's no gold ingress. So why invest? Being accustomed to accumulate interest is never easy to digest, diluting a figure's mess. The colour of life, wealth and status always seems to be separated by the law's latest. Why do you cover my history? Making me think hidden passages will never be. But maybe it sets the black in a man's hands free. But then again, was it meant to be? Or freed accidentally? Or for a purpose? To be back where it was originally? Showing love between one another, not knowing any form of colour, but it did change. Why? Why when you look at me, you realise I'm a person who don't play the game, but still continue to remain the same? The pain, the agony, the stress, the ripped flesh that my ancestors left. The blemishes are still showing that my scars are still growing depth. But will I ever heal? Can I take back what I don't feel? I don't think so. How does it feel to see one's root go to a place you don't even know? How can I sow the seeds if the seeds weren't known? Don't ever take what you don't know. For maybe when she's saying yes, she's meaning no. See, double meanings don't guess, but always populate interest, indirected into the queen's chest, stemming from the queen's nest. Hence why they say everything happens in the West. But what happened to the North, East and the South? Seems like people's votes don't full of people's mouths. But because of that, don't be standing silent still. Don't you know everything happens by the Most High's will? So you must put our trust in the Most High still. Regardless whether we live or die, our mistake is always built to fly to never return. To bypass the first class in order to learn from who? The outcasts. From rice to Ross, from blood to clot, not where did it go, but where did it start? Where's the proof that it was us who contaminated the earth's use and let loose the reveling ritual abuse? Stop the excuses. I can see an eye and tooth for a tooth, but two wrongs don't make a right, so tell me the truth. Or let's do this, like a liquidation of juices. You tell me my skin is black, but all I can see is brown, Jack. So am I labelled black? For primary school taught me colours to distinguish between one another, so I don't make a mistake of mixing my colours like a certain man be mixing their lovers. Is my skin really black though? It might have black hair and black there, but it's not black everywhere now, is it? So when the police ask you for a description, please be more specific, because not all want it like Riddick. Telling tales of stories, predicting a prediction that's frigid, click. Bring me to know what makes you tick, because you don't all look alike. Despite that our left jabs with our right, imitating a dark night you was never able to get right. Tried to eradicate us many a time, plagued many a line, as well as dumbing down many a rhyme, numbing many a mind. Why do you feel the need to dress up in a white robe and force that black should be told in any mode, not realising that black upon black's back will form a code? Trust. You feared you were able to trace us, so you did not face us, but have us work your labour like you discussed. There's proof and evidence among us that your actions weren't just, so that's the end of your case boat, case bust. Like a spade held and a club hit in a blackjack's grip. But remove the black from the jack and what do you get? A joker. A joker will always forget what he once set, for the pain of black is forever returning back. Is this what we attract? But back to the topic, is my skin black? Maybe it is for now because being socially accepted, but tell me this, if I wasn't black, what would I be? Black history. Forward into recent times, a frequent sightseeing seems like there's more people than human beings, as addiction have numbed the nerves of human feelings. What is it to feel? As I'm taken by technology, I'll never be awakened by philosophy. This is man-made prophecy, taken from monology. So don't show me no apology when you temper with biology. Taking away the natural state. Now the natural states, I hate this, black this and black, oh, this terrorist. Everyone labelled affected the system is labelled as a terrorist. And the real terrorist gets dismissed out of wisdom. Hence why we don't see justice list them. Justice on some kinky-ish want to spank their bottom and kiss them. The ANC and the Panthers were strategic heretics and never left allegiance derelict. They was trying to uplift and educate a broken nation's mental state. They was like, brother, please, sit back and concentrate as awaken your mental plate. Plant the concentration to succeed and being a people that's freed without greed. So don't be content with the fancy things and chemical weeds as always keeping people in need. A bad destruction formed by a bad habit is like drugs on a jackrabbit. You'll never be able to catch it, let alone grab it. A melanin disorder now labelled panic. But since then, being the people colour changed. And since then, the older generations look at the youth strange, like the young will say, young man, don't you know you had the things I never had? And then the young will reply, yeah, but you in the time when good and bad was bad. I don't know what makes me happy and what makes me sad. For example, you had a dad I never had. He was out in the doubt, making doubt about if I was his or not. And anytime I asked him a question, his own reply was, what? Like I'm talking to an on-man mannequin block. He didn't care. So the breakdown in communication was already there. But when he wasn't there, I no longer cared because my mother was there. Always held my tongue back from the gum. Because she used to find it around, my mother wasn't the one. As I was at the one time, the one son, my mother had come and then some. My mother taught me not to swear. But if she wasn't there, my dad would have his ears open bare. Because words would slip, my tongue would rip. It wouldn't get half but the whole of the lip. But would that make you a better person? Resembling the preacher elder, don't implement what he says at a sermon. I just don't get it. What is black and what is blick? Why does the truth intend not to stick by facts that are thick? If you're going to do as you say, then please say as you do. And don't backchat for people who say your skin's black. As I'll find out the excuse not to handle that. For in truth, we in community can provide that. As long as we can work together, anything can be accomplished. And again, the Maroon showed this nevertheless. But without research being done, you wouldn't know this stress as you've been moulded to impress, to change your dialect. From speech to text style set, dumbing down your intellect because of a white intersect. Let me interject. My triple great grandfather was a Maroon and never spoke too soon, but when it kicked off, he was there standing, ready to unload arrows upon a foreign man's head top. Ah! Was the sound when the body did drop to please peace, as peace treats were drawn up, but never did they hold up, and never did they own up to a people. For they placed trust in persons who they did see equal. For they had one goal, which was to enslave people. Funny how you think the slavery chains are broken, but all they did was break them off to mold them. They don't hang them around our necks no more because we willingly hold them. You try to stop go work and see if you're not willingly homeless. Like a William Tell Mozart spell, like in before it never ends well. Research past time to be able to cross the timelines. And don't wait till next year to find out the purpose why we're here. For information don't stay here. Quotes and quotes will disappear as the truth finds solace in fear. Imagine if you wisened up. Our level up would be so abrupt to be rid of the corrupt, to condone the conduct, to say we give a... Because what you see taking place is not war, but a revolution. All for to trigger the rise of the black figure. Not the black nig, go. As quotes and quotes will deem deeper to the black sleeper who has locks for the smith's keeper. What good is a locksmith without locks? Was it ever able to decipher and penetrate the dreadlock? I think not, as the keys Goldilocks held never fitted to a three-bed deadlock. Please unblock Mr. Malcolm X. Malcolm X said, by any means necessary. So don't do what's unnecessary, as it will further cloud the conclusion of ever seeing a resolution. So don't let the solution be overcome by the toxic pollution. It's an odd-sick intrusion. When innocent blood is spilling and families are drawn to killing, able or winning, who's really winning? When it's the world that's living. One finds it hard to vent when fueled with hatred and resentment. Ain't evident. Our position ain't relevant when ain't resident, like an undead president seeking a settlement. Africa. Man can forgive, but man can't forget the horrible scenes that were once met. Brainwashing cadets to seek a black set. But the actions was never a threat, as they always followed through like a finished edit met. Ain't no parental advisory to explicit moments held to exploring contents to condense the words of human sense of battle to see the once placed hanging tree rerouting back to black history. I know English shouldn't be my first language, but how can I help if I'm not taught to spit? You changed my parents, you changed my tongue. What else have you changed I haven't seen you done? I always have to try to keep myself in check. For my identity is on a third surge, claiming respect. A word's heard a technicality, that black upon black is a unique speciality. In the right reality, let there be no hatred and no vanity towards human humanity, as it will further deplete sanity. We're human wronged, but we're human strong. But don't make my condition seem oblong, because there's no such thing as a black song. Jack Johnson, King Kong, ain't no one forced a white woman to be gone. She just wanted black upon her lip. I wanted to know the love, the grip of a shadow's whip, a shadow's kiss, curious of the shadow's tip. Many years held back, many years in the cornfields breaking our back with no shield, while he took over our habitat, a point peeled. Then sent a virus infused with rats, so we couldn't even go back to where black understood black. Don't like the DCC to let me know that. With your black jacket and your black hat, to reeling black jeans where Christopher stole that black map. And so solid cold, so cold contract to be able to adapt to the rise of Africa's black back. Back to back, black history will always remain black, like truth always comes with facts, and will remain Europeans' first contact as if white discovered coloured blacks. Coloured was a term used before. Yes, the Mexicans and the Asians was in ship with us too, sat in the law, going on like there was never in the queue asking for more. Listen, the rich and the poor is the poor. At times we have no choice as our privilege stripped by our voice and rolled over more times than voice. Saying slavery was a choice? It's stupidity. Insulting the colour man's liberty as if we raised our hands to be kicked free, need be an epitome. Mirroring images vividly in a darker vicinity, we're never up on a billy or being surrounded by a serenity. Tranquil lit. Woo! It's a dream to be out of the pulpit. It's either we live or we forfeit a day's gift to come back with a mind's drift or a life's risk to look evil in the eye and say, this. As black wanted to return to black to give a last kiss, a real compassionist. So with no further ado, I bring to you names of the many few as identification is not a gang but a united crew. Mary Seeker was a person that was known and grown from Jamaica, came to Britain penniless to advance her studies in medical tenderness, to spread kindness and reduce mild stress to those who were in debt of those claimed to be the best. So never paid the cost to impress. The Empress Harriet Tubman was a person that came from Jamaica, from the White Cave, and came to slay over her master's grave. You know when people say, over my dead body, this was literally over the dead body, prevailing abandoned property to withstand the title of slavery properly. An oddly commodity when the dice is rolled even to end the century's odyssey. Letting us know we have the keys to unlock the knowledge we seize. Now please give salute and gratitude to Marcus Garvey, who gives ignition to the black race like a car key, like sound did to Bob Marley, forming the compound of the People's Political Party, which was the prequel to the African Free School, where whites were termed the fool. One blood, one love, equal rules, where everyone's a civilian. Never sell out just to be in the pavilion when Africa was the place that made trillions. In layman terms, that's quadruple millions. So when that 50-50 split hits like Lillian, she's going to be worried about that money circulating back to Dark Gillian, as she didn't want to portray the race of Gilligan. Now on to Francis William. He was a poet that know it, and I didn't tell to show it. He had realised an elegant pen had began with an evil hour at hand that black will find hard to withstand. Back to cripple the black man's word. And so cycles observed. Self-service is helpless when the product is proved worthless. Adding stress and contempt to prove a bloody mess to accept ashes of a final test. Yes, Howard Moody was the first medical practitioner in Peckham. Yes, Thompson Carr was assassinated for declaiming to be a terror, like Idi Amin and those from Jago de la Vega, the Alpha and Omega, the slave and the invader. The raiders took over our lost arts, now we bear the brunt of their mark. Contactless this and contactless that, why cannot we connect contact and reconnect back? So hold this and hold that, as love is forever making a turn back to remember Jones, Claudia Jones. The first to make a West Indian Gazette, the first to campaign on National Carnival and get the funds to release blacks that will flame the threat. So never forget, a cycle that repeats is planned to be kept. If Garnet Silk can explain love is the answer, then why is people who don't love one another and always tend to question to chase for answers? It's shallow how the deepness of love cannot feel the identity's shadow, and it's sad to see the shadow turn human just to step into the gallows. Is it hollow or hello? Is it savage or mellow? Because these footprints don't leave a trail that's coloured to be yellow. Even till this day, no one can tell the wealth of the black man's shade. Manson Moose had materials developed from a different grade. He was a blueprint to the white man's made. So don't become those who are paid or be those who are afraid to forward us away with no say, marking us away. From straight to gay, from gay to mixed. Now I'm a man with no tits. Confusion again. End of days mist will always be darker than the night's kiss. Equivalent to the wind rush didn't come to be harsh like decorating, as if the paint don't see the brush when the whole place is in need of a flush. JB Rose handled the Black Death as if he knew his own code. The story's told. Why did Crapper try and take what he sold? Posing as an inventor that plans for gold. As I now bring the segment session to a close, don't deny the truth your subconscious knows. Don't seek to step where the shadow goes. Don't be like them and don't be like those, but be your own with a thought process that chose. Even though Feely said beware the shadows, but Feely, what shadow was there to bear when no one's taught to care? Then look at it like it's our fault why we despair. I say that to say this, don't put me on no blacklist. Don't ever give me words to twist when you'll never back this, but take the piss in making me believe I'm a person to miss. Forgive me, listeners, for I know this has been a long head-to-head, but don't behead me, as some of the things I've said may have gone over your head. But Jedi will always red-eye and continue to dead-eye to continue to see me dead. Making you forget the bloodshed that was a part of Master's bedhead, forever told red dead like redemption says. But if you don't take from nothing else, take from this. Remain positive. Children need fathers just as they need mothers, and it's hard with one without the other. Encourage your children to do what's good, because one day they're going to stand where we once stood, being upright as could. Pay no mind to people who tell them that they're hood. Just know that the bad will always envy the good. Identification is breaking down relations and has never had your back. Identification places stigma on this nation's aggravation to attack. Cause it's more than me, it's more than being black. Am I really black?